From MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice, Sylvester Lynn, welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Tuesday to us all. We are back a couple days early. I did tell you this is going to happen. A lot going on. Basically living in two different states right now. So I'm currently in Massachusetts. I got to go back to South Carolina. Making that drive tomorrow night into Thursday. So we're doing this show a little bit earlier. And you know what? So what? It's UFC 322 fight week. We are excited. We're ready to talk about this stuff right now. We got media day tomorrow. We got the press conference. Why not just get going with the UFC 322 talk? Because this week could not come soon enough. We as fans, all of us here in this room right now, here in this stream, who listen and come to all of these shows, who watch every single card on Saturday, events like this is why we remain fans. This is why we put up with the crappy Apex cards to get to cards like this, and I could not be more excited. It's only Tuesday, and I'm ready to jump through a freaking wall. And joining me to discuss UFC 322, the comings and goings in the world of MMA, to answer all of your questions and much more, Mr. No Gray Area, the hot take kid, the climber of all climbers, the one and only Jed Meshew from MMAfighting.com. And Jed, some tell me that MMAfighting.com is a pretty darn good website.
It depends, I think it is. You may be the lone one fan and furious that we cover other aspects of combat sports and not one championship, which is only nominally an MMA organization anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the feed on MMAfighting.com. It's a great website. Oh, that was for the people, not for you, Michael.
Yes.
Good. I literally just got home from the gym. New PR on bench, so
let's go.
Ready to rock, ready to get after it here, and then I will spend the rest of the day, since I'm off, turning out the lights, sitting in a dark room, and reflecting on why I'm a bad journalist because we wrote a story about Andrei Arlovski knocking a dude out. I'm sorry, former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski, the
GOAT in some people's eyes, Jed. Not my eyes, but maybe in yours and some others. The GOAT, Andrei Arlovski. Look, it happens. We are not for everybody. There are some certain people within this space who are upset with me too, and that's okay. That's okay. I got a text message last night that I thought was pretty funny, because of this show, if we're being honest. So we'll leave it at that. But this is all about you guys. This is your show. Your questions. Let's get after it. Let's get here. I watched Josh Hokett talk with Ariel yesterday. He actually seemed like an okay dude. He honestly surprised me. I thought he'd keep his post-fight interview character. I mean, I've interviewed him before. Again, the great E. Casey Leiden saw that interview. And even he was surprised at the character of Josh Hokett. I mean, it's essentially the same interview I did for the most part, where it's like a lot of the stuff about the NFL and how he got here and things of that nature. MMA is more, I guess, for him politically and from a individualistic place. And yeah, didn't want to be a PFL world champion. I love that line. He said that to me a few months back before his last LFA fight. No one goes to bed and dreams to be a PFL world champion. Everybody wants to be a UFC world champion. I love that line. Yeah, but as I've said on the show many times, Josh is a really, he's a deep, good dude. You converse with him, it's pretty normal conversation. And then the lights turn on and the sunglasses go on and the American bandana goes on and it's a different thing. But yeah, Josh is fine. But I don't know. Did you watch that interview?
I didn't. I have... maybe he said a lot of great stuff. I'll watch the stuff that I'm forced to watch, right? Like these post-fight interviews, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I have no interest in intentionally seeking out his content from the Contender Series thing. And if you like that, I'm not here to judge on anyone who that's their dude. Cool, man, but it's not for me. The one clip I saw was just like, yeah, this guy's not for me. And so there are plenty of fighters in the sport that aren't for me, and that's how I choose to engage with him. If somebody was like, hey, we need to write up what he said, I'll be like, okay. It's like, I don't hate the dude or whatever, but the older you get, Mike, the more I come to the inevitable conclusion that sometimes you just got to be like, not for me, and I'll do something else. And that's okay.
Yep.
Not trashing the dude. He seems like he might have some staying power. And, we talked in the post show. Give him a lot of credit for that post-fight speech. I don't think it was amazing. Is certainly derivative. But you know what it was? Different. It was something. It gave people a reason to invest in him. It's the reason he went on Ariel's show in a lot of ways. So he's doing something right, but not everything that's done right has to be for everybody. And he is not for me.
Fair enough. Scott, favorite MSG main card to rewatch? I could still throw on 217 and enjoy from start to finish 205 and 268. Both have great moments, but start to finish 217 always delivers. So, Jed, once in a while you hit the town, you hit the bars, and maybe you come back and you get yourself a pizza or something. You sit on the couch and you start to eat away and soak up the booze. And you want to watch some fist fights. And today's thought process is, let's go rewatch a main card from Madison Square Garden in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. What's the go-to main card you're watching from MSG?
This is the easiest answer of all time. It's 205, man. It's the best MSG card. I think on paper this card could rival it. We'll see if it plays out. I think people think poorly of the co-main event because everybody hates a draw. Like, everybody hates a draw, right? But like the Woodley Thompson fight, like the Woodley Wonderboy fight, was a banger. Like, that was
the fight of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that year?
I don't think it was fight of the year, but it was fight of the night. I'd have to remember what the hell fight of the year was, and you could look it up. 2016. I don't know what fight of the year. I don't think it was fight of the year. Probably was on the list. It was a really good fight. There's just no way it's fight of the year because it was a draw, and nobody will ever. People hate draw.
Oh, that was the same year as
Also,
Condit Lawler too. So there's no way.
Yeah, that Condit Lawler too was or not Condit Lawler too.
Also,
Condit Lawler.
Yeah.
Also, that was January 2nd, and so it was like, all right, well, no one can have it anymore. But it was a really fun fight. Obviously the main event is the thing everybody remembers. It's iconic. It's a sensational performance, certainly, right? Like, it's the best performance of Conor's career. Will be the best performance of his career. And the Joanna Carolina fight was like pretty solid too. Like, it was mostly Joanna running stuff. You get Yoel Romero doing cool stuff. Yeah, it's 205 is the standard by which MSG cards are judged.
Yeah, I love these conversations. We love to go back and look. Yeah, it would have been a tough year for Wonderboy. Condit won to win fight of the year. Obviously, Lawler Condit was the winner. Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz 2 from UFC 202 was in second place. Third place, a Hall of Fame fight, Jed. Tough to beat a Hall of Fame fight. Cub Swanson versus Doo Ho Choi.
Absolutely hilarious that's the third, that's in the Hall of Fame, and the two fights above it are not.
Yeah. Number 4, Holly Holm loses the women's bantamweight title to Miesha Tate.
Oh, yeah.
Terrific
sure.
fight.
That fight for sure, too. That fight, frankly, should... I'd have to go back and look at our judging. I can't imagine I would have put that there. That had to be 2 for me.
And then, that fight is the most underrated
that
fight
is
of all time.
Is clearly better than Cub Swanson, Doo Ho Choi. And that's Doo Ho Choi, Cub Swanson's it's a fun fight. Holm Tate is obviously much better than that. But I think Tate got sub of the year that year, and sometimes in award ceremonies, that is a factor. It's like, well, they're getting sub of the year. There's acknowledgement here. But yeah, for sure.
And number 5 was the first main event of 2026. Dominic Cruz versus TJ Dillashaw in Boston, Massachusetts. I was in the building for that one. Honorable mentions.
Yeah,
the
really
first honorable mention was Woodley Wonderboy from UFC 205. Also Michael Bisping, Anderson Silva, Joanna Gadelha 2, Neil Magny, Hector Lombard. Jake Matthews made the list, Jed, this year. Jake Matthews versus Johnny Case.
I don't remember that fight at all.
Your boy.
I just have zero recollection of that fight whatsoever, but all right.
205 is great. If you have to rewatch any main card, it has to be UFC 290. Great fights, funny moments, crazy upsets, truly an all-time card. 290 is one of my favorite events ever.
What's 290?
That was the International Fight Week card headlined by Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez.
That was really good. Yeah, that was a really good card.
Excellent card. It was one of that we got Moreno pants on that card. I believe that was the DDP.
It was Bobby
Coronation.
Knuckles, I pulled it up. Yep.
Robert Whittaker. That was an amazing card. I remember how much we were hyping that one up on the way up, and BC calling you all sorts of names when you threw out your DDP's gonna beat Whittaker take.
Who laughed last? Plus, I honestly it took me a minute. The thing that I remember most from that card, it's not the main card. It's Robbie Lawler, his retirement fight. That's the best thing that happened. I mean, the whole card, top to bottom, was pretty damn good. Yeah, 290 was a really good card.
Yeah, excellent fight card. Joseph, Jacqueline Cavalcanti, after her win Saturday at her scrum, said she wants to face Irene Aldana next. Can we get a bonus mic check and thoughts on that call out? Fine call out, B-. Who else you got to call out, really? I would have liked to have seen her call Juliana Pena. I literally think every woman in that division after a win should call Juliana Pena, because one of you is going to get it. And it's just funny to see all of you follow Juliana Pena. So it's fine.
And as the mic check segment is a thing that we continually workshop on air, what I've just realized right now is when the intro happens, like for the TikTok, there needs to be a sound drop. That's who you're going to call. Right, like we got to do the Ghostbusters. Who you going to call interwoven there? We'll have to work on it, but there's something there.
Yeah, there's definitely something there. It's fine call out. Makes sense. Will she get it? Maybe. I don't know. There's just nothing. If she wanted an A+, she should have said, "Get rid of this division and let's do women's heavyweight." That would have been an A++ call out, but that's not going to happen. So, it makes sense that Ilya hasn't been offered a fight set into stone before Islam and JDM, though how much do you think this result will play into Ilya's next fight if Islam wins or loses?
Put that back up. Sorry.
So, Masters of the Universe Classic is kind of putting out a scenario that the reason we have not gotten the official Ilya Topuria fight announcement is because he's waiting to see what happens here.
No chance. 0%. Like
0%.
0%. Absolutely 0%. Ilya Topuria will be the first big event of the Paramount deal. That it just will be. Now, who that's against, it's up in the air. Patty or Gaethje, those are the names, right? Maybe if it gets delayed again and Dan Hooker beats Arman, maybe, but he will be the first fight of the big Paramount deal, barring an injury in the next 2 weeks or something like that. The reason I say so strongly at 0%, because they would shelve Ilya Topuria until the summer. Because if they are, I don't think they're going to do Ilya versus Makhachev regardless. The only way I think that fight happens is if Islam loses on Saturday. But I won't say that's 0%. But if they are going to do it, they're doing it at the White House. So they're not waiting to hold. They're not going to shelve him for that long because the timeline fits. The timeline works super well if they're going to fight at the White House of, all right, Ilya fights in January. You have said previously, and I stand firmly on base with you, they are very soon this week. We will get the announcement of whatever the January pay-per-view is, because frankly, it is delayed right already. And they're not going to have Ilya fight, Islam in January. That's not going to happen. So he will be fighting Patty or Gaethje in January. I'm like 98% on that. And the other thing that I did not believe you were correct, Mike. Hand up. I was wrong. Kamaru Usman is challenging for the welterweight title next. if you can read any tea leaves, it's very clear at this point. Perhaps I was being intentionally obtuse, sticking my head in the sand, going full emu, but everybody associated in even tangentially to this has mentioned Kamaru Usman's name this week. Javier Mendez, Islam Makhachev, Habib, that's just happening. So that's silly and stupid, and I hate it in a lot of ways. But if Islam wins, he's fighting Kamaru next.
1,000,000%. I told you this months ago that this is what they were planning.
Yeah, and you're 100%. You're correct. I'm giving you your props here.
Yeah.
And if Islam loses, they're not like, you can do that. That fight won't happen in January. That fight still, even with a loss, if it's Islam comes back to 155, which I'm frankly not certain he can do, and has been pretty honest about, like, I can't really, that would be really tough. I could maybe make it work. That's not going to happen in January. So you can just get the Ilya Patty fight in January, and then Islam and Ilya can fight at the White House. I think I firmly believe it is a 0%er that they are waiting for the outcome. They are not announcing it because, one, this is the week, right? The timeline hasn't been necessary. They just announced 323 like a week ago or whatever. So 324 will get announced. Based on everything I've heard from anybody, it's Ilya. I still think it's Ilya Patty. It could be Ilya Gaethje. That'll get announced soon. They're not waiting on this fight.
Yeah. Islam Usman's going to happen if Islam wins. It's going to make me so upset. That's like one take. There's like a part of me for the watch party that just wants to bet JDM to like get the vibes back, because JDM, and I said this when we were doing question of the day a lot more consistently. If you're a welterweight, or if you're a fan of any sort of like the next man up fights in any way, you need JDM to win on Saturday. He has to win. If he doesn't, Usman's getting a title shot. He's jumping all of these guys that have
he's
worked
getting it anyway.
I understand it for the Islam part.
Stupid.
Of it. Yeah, I get it for the Islam side of it, because if you're Islam, like,
I think
and you have one fight left, that's a good one. That's a good legacy fight. He's the second best welterweight of all time. He was once pound for pound. Like, I get it. It's really dumb, and it's one of the most egregious title fights I've ever seen. A guy who has only got one win in the last 4 years against maybe the 10th best welterweight in the world. Like, it's ridiculous. But JDM can flip this on his ears. If he goes out there and just nukes Islam and then calls out literally anybody else, like if he calls out Brady or Morales, like that goes away. Usman's out of the picture. Like, he could do this all.
Yeah, but why would
with
he
a
want
microphone
to?
in his face?
That would be dumb as shit for him. He should. That's why, like, I think it pretty clearly Kamaru Usman has some authority, has been told something that he's in play at the minimum. And
that's why he's doing all the media
he's
round
doing
right
the push. He's there. He can be like all of that. And if I'm JDM, why in God's name would I call out the winner of Michael Morales, Sean Brady, if I beat Islam? That would deserve the worst mic check of all time if he does that.
Why?
Because that's career suicide. Like, he can beat either of them. Who gives a shit? He will beat old man Usman, who is, they are given the full. The honest to God, the thing that really sent me over was Dana White just like stupidly calling Kamaru Usman the greatest welterweight of all time, which is like a take that was trying to get traction, and then he got his head knocked off, and everybody was like, "Oh, that was very stupid of us." And now we've just we've brought it back up explicitly because they're going to pitch him. He's going to he's going to contend, and he's going to. I straight up think he's the next dude. Which is insane. I want to be super clear. That's bad. We shouldn't do this. But it's going to happen. And if I'm Jack, I am absolutely trying to fight that old dude with a big name that Dana White is telling the millions of people is the greatest of all time, as opposed to fighting Sean Brady, who is nobody knows, has the most generic name probably in America. He has the most. You went to school with Sean Brady. I went to school with a Sean Brady. Everybody has. It's the most generic name of all time, and nobody knows him. That's not a critique on him as a fighter. He's an incredible fighter. But outside of him literally power bombing Michael Morales through the cage on Saturday, a vast majority of the fan base doesn't know or care about him. So calling him out would be insane when you have a teed up Kamaru Usman title fight running behind you. Because if he beats Islam, he's absolutely beating Kamaru Usman at this stage of his career.
Oh, he's beating him anyways.
I mean, yes.
Anyways.
Well, I could be convinced if he loses to Islam that Jack versus Kamaru is like competitive. Because if it happens, it's because he just gets tackled a bunch. But if he stuffs all Islam's takedowns, like, well, Kamaru can't do anything. He's going to die. Like if he wins on Saturday and calls out Michael Morales or Sean Brady or Ian Machado Gary, like Ian Machado Gary and Shavkat would be a little better than the Sean Brady Morales winner.
At least, IMG has a fight coming up, so that would
and at least those dudes like
Shavkat
have
would be sick.
Some name to them. But he should call out Kamaru, who will be cage side. Like, yeah, Kamaru's just getting it, which is not what I thought I'd be saying on Saturday when we were talking about this. Like, that's ridiculous. And now it's like, oh, no, it's very clear. They want Kamaru Usman to be the next title challenger. Got it.
Insane.
It's crazy.
But the reason that everyone's putting this out there is that, oh, this is by far the biggest fight. There are even people saying, I think Usman said it in an interview that's going to drop tomorrow, that outside of like Jon Jones, Alex Pereira, and Conor McGregor's return, this is the biggest fight the UFC can make. And I was just like, what are we talking about here? Like, I understand that Kamaru is, like, people know who Kamaru is. But for, like, the newer generational fan base, they've only seen him fight one time. And it was a fight no one will rewatch. It was a dominant win over Joaquin Buckley. Don't get me wrong. Like, this, he did what he needed to do. He needed to go out and win convincingly. And he did that. He opened up so many eyeballs about, I guess, the limitations that Joaquin Buckley has as a fighter. Very explosive, very fun, but there are certain things that he is not spectacular at. And I think Usman sort of opened up those doors a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's just a ridiculous title shot. It's just a ridiculous title fight. It doesn't make any sense to me. So Jed has lost power. So he will be back in a moment. And we will bring him back when that happens. Spencer, boys, nice surprise to see you this fine Tuesday morning. Is Val Zhang a top 5 women's fight of all time? Fight besides main and co-main you're most excited for? I think I'll let Jed give his take on this because it's pretty accurate. I don't want to steal his thunder. But just to answer that, is it a top 5 women's fight of all time? You bet your ass it is. If you said to me, is it a top 3 women's fight of all time? I would say yes. And then as far as which non-main or co-main am I excited for? I mean, there's so many good ones, but sort of like under the radar, I'm kind of looking at the Blanchfield-Cortez fight in a lot of ways. I am very fascinated by that fight because Blanchfield, as good as she is so far away from a title fight. It's pretty wild how far away from a title fight she actually is.
I'm back.
Jed is back. Hi, Jed.
My power went out. Sorry, everybody.
So Spencer asks, yeah. So I was saying,
my power on fire.
It was his hot take. It was his Usman take. Knocked the power out in Atlanta. I'll get to your.
Usman did not knock out Joaquin Buckley.
He sure didn't. Fight beside, what's a 322 fight besides the main and co-main that you are most excited for? I was saying, not that I'm like excited for it per se, but I am intrigued by mostly the fallout of Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez 2. Very much looking forward to that because I think Blanchfield, if she ever wants to fight for a UFC belt, she cannot lose another fight. She's kind of in that boat right now, and this division is picking up a little more steam with some of the names they have. And if Cortez wins, they're going to shoot her as quickly as possible to a title fight. She may have to fight again. She probably will have to fight again, but Blanchfield's going to have to win like at least 2, maybe 3 before she's getting a title fight. So I am intrigued by that to see if like the right can be wrong because I thought Blanchfield won their first fight. your thoughts on non-main or co-main fight you're most excited for. And then on top of that, is Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili a top 5 women's fight of all time?
First, I disagree with your take. I think Blanchfield certainly needs to win this if she wants to fight for a belt soon. She's still 26. If she loses, I think she can still get there. It would be a setback in a major way, but like she's still really young. And we've seen over the past few years, it's not like the women's divisions are like rapidly facing turnover all that much. So, but it is a very important fight for her. She wants to be fighting for a belt next year, right? And that should be her goal. It is so tough to pick my favorite non-title fight this weekend. I think Sean Brady, Michael Morales can be awesome. I am super high on Michael Morales. I think Michael Morales will absolutely fight for a belt one day. Also 26 years old. I think it's more likely than not that Michael Morales is a future champion. Now, that does not mean he is a future champion in the next 2 years, right? He's still very young. But of that whole crop of Ian Machado Gary and Shavkat and this sort of these emerging contenders at 170, I kind of think he has the best chance to get the belt because he's so young and he's so talented. I have a bet on Michael Morales. I won't be shocked if Sean Brady wins this fight, but I'm very intrigued by that fight. Leon Edwards, I have questions about that fight. I think Dariush Benoit Saint-Denis is guaranteed to be the most fun fight on the entire card. There's just no chance. Because it has BSD being involved in a fight means that fight's fun. And Beneil Dariush is sneaky kind of that dude as well. That man will engage in a brawl real fast. But I said this on No Bets Barred. We recorded last night. It'll drop in the morning. Nobody's going to pick this. I wrote about it this week. I love Malcolm Wellmaker, Cody Haddon. I love that fight. I love that fight so much. I'm sad about that fight because originally Malcolm Wellmaker on my fantasy roster was going to face Sergey City, which was a setup fight and would have gotten me so many points. And now this is a much more difficult fight against a dude who was on the same season of Contender Series that I thought was a better prospect and still kind of do think is a better prospect than Wellmaker. But Wellmaker has been so good. And this is the fight, right? Like they were giving him Surrey City as a setup to be like, okay, blow this dude up and then we'll start pushing. Now it's a bit different, but it's still like, hey man, this is now a tough fight. Show us something and we're going to strap the rockets to you. We're going to give you an opportunity to climb quickly, which they need to do with him because he is older. He's very young in fight years, but he's already in his 30s. There's not a huge amount of window for him, so they're going to have to put the boots on him quick. And this is an opportunity. I love that fight so much. I'm so excited about that fight. I don't imagine anyone else will share that, or like very few people will share that opinion, but I'm looking forward to it as much as any of the non-title fights this weekend.
Yeah, so big. Like I love when we get fights that will like literally give us like the outlook of the entire future of a certain individual fighter. And don't get me wrong, Malcolm Wellmaker is in a great spot. He is either going to be the highlight reel dude that nukes the Chris Boutinos of the world for the rest of his career, or if he goes out there and just obliterates Cody Haddon, which would be the best win of his career by a country bazillion miles, they got something with him. And if he goes out there and finishes Cody Haddon, his next fight needs to be against like a top 10 guy. Like we cannot mess around here. I would throw him in there with Chito Vera if he wins this fight. Like just go.
Yeah.
Jump him over everybody. Throw him in there with Amin Zahabi next. Like honestly, just go. And if he wins 2 more fights, give him a title shot. Like push this dude as fast as you can. But he's got a really difficult test ahead of him. And again, if he loses, it's not a big deal. He'll be a very popular fighter who just gets highlight reel knockouts. It will be all over the opening Baba O'Reilly package for years to come. And that's fine. That is a great place to be if you're Malcolm Wellmaker. You're still must-see TV, may not win a title, but that's fine. Either way, I think he's in a great spot. But if he wins this fight on Saturday, go.
It's are you Terrence McKinney or are you Carlos Prates?
Love that.
That's what this fight is. It's like, are you okay? Are you kind of an older dude who has just been lighting the world on fire? And okay, we'll just move you in and we'll see how far we can push you, how quickly we can do so. And a bantamweight that you can do that pretty well, frankly. People are going to hate this. It's a corollary to what I believe is one of my strongest takes in recent months that people hate the most. Amin Zahabi isn't good, and look where they got him, because you can kind of do that at bantamweight right now because there's like a mix of old dudes or flawed fighters who are still sort of holding higher numbers. The top is a murderer's row. Like, it's tough to chew through that sort of top 5 category, but that middle section, you got, guys like Chito Vera, who has a gaudy ranking and can be good, but also can just not fist fight a dude randomly. You have, I don't know what Henry Cejudo has in the tank anymore because he hasn't won a fight in like 8 years. Rob Font keeps sort of holding the gate, but is also in his last legs. You can kind of bounce a dude up very quickly through this mix, as opposed to lightweight, where it's like, it doesn't matter who you put them against. It's just going to be an impossible fight. And you got to put together 4 of those to get into the top. And so we get to find out where Wellmaker is. And if not, I don't think Cody Haddon, if he wins this fight on Saturday, will come out of it getting the same sort of push Wellmaker would.
No.
But if he wins this fight, I'll be like, yeah, that's one of the better prospects of 135 right now. Like, that's a dude who he's not going to get the boots put to him. And here we go. Rocket strapped Amin Zahabi. Here we come. But the UFC will know, okay, this is a guy we can develop, we can build to be a legitimate top 10 sort of fighter. And so I love this fight. I think the fight will just be fun, be high-level mixed martial arts, and I'm all about it.
Yeah. Haddon wins. He goes to Sydney, and he fights Chris Gutierrez in, like, the featured prelim. It's a damn good place to be. It'd be a huge win for him. Take a little bit of that hype. So. Yeah. And then Val Zhang, where do you rank this? I didn't want to take your take.
Oh.
I said it's definitely top 5 for me, but I'm going to let you take the floor on what you think of Val Zhang.
If you don't have this as top 5, you don't know ball. Like, that's technically, that's a subjective opinion. It's one of those things where, like, I use this analogy all the time. It's one I learned in law school, right? Where it's, saying Shaq is tall is technically subjective because, like, tall is relative. But if I say that Shaq's tall and you're like, tall compared to what? You're just kind of, you're being intentionally obtuse, and it's not a realistic, like, that's not a real thing to be like, actually Shaq's not tall if you're a redwood tree. If you don't think this is one of the 5 best women's fights of all time, you do not know mixed martial arts. You are being intentionally, like, contrarian. That is a fact. Like, I think that's as close to a fact as a subjective thing can be. I believe this to be the greatest women's fight of all time. I don't know if I'm the first person on this corner, but I'm one of the first people on this corner. And I believe this to be the greatest on paper women's fight of all time. Now, will it play out? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe we'll get Zhang Joanna fight. Maybe it sucks. But on paper, I think, Mike, I would ask you, but I think if you asked most people, what is the greatest women's fight of all time? Not in cage, but like historically, the most significant, etc. I think most people would go to Amanda Nunes, Chris Cyborg, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, that, aside from ultimately being, I think, the fight that more than anything is like, oh, that's why Amanda Nunes is the women's GOAT or whatever. She obliterated Chris Cyborg. But even in the lead up to that fight, right? Like, that was a big thing to happen. 2 very small notes on that. 1, women's featherweight is a garbage division and kind of a fake one. Chris Cyborg had been undefeated for forever and is an all-time great. Like, I'm not saying that part of it's not true, but also she lorded over a division that kind of doesn't exist and functionally is the same as bantamweight in many respects. And 2, Amanda wasn't Amanda at that point, right? Like, Amanda was great, and people knew that Amanda was something. but Amanda had only had 2 title defenses under her belt, I think, at that point. I think she'd had the Rousey and the Shevchenko title defenses, right? And so she wasn't Amanda Nunes. This is the fight that got her to be Amanda Nunes. Conversely, Valentina Shevchenko is, in my opinion, I won't argue this point because nobody will believe it, and that's okay. In my opinion, Valentina Shevchenko is the greatest female fighter of all time. And Zhang Weili is the greatest strawweight of all time. I think both of those are very open to debate. I'm not saying that those are facts. Those are my opinions. But, you know, we're talking about at worst 2 of the 5 best female fighters to have ever walked the face of the earth in their relative primes, matching up, you know, as the leaders of the 2 best weight classes in the sport. There's nothing that's comparable to that in my mind. I think it's the greatest female fight of all time on paper.
It's super good. And I don't think you're wrong. I don't think any could really say you're wrong, because you could certainly make an argument for it. I think as far as like fights I'm excited about and just like overall builds, like I wish there was a little more heat to this one. And I get why there isn't. It's JDM Islam. Islam is way more popular than people gave him credit for and have been giving him credit for. So that's obviously going to steal the headlines. But this fight is so good. Like, I'm looking more forward to this fight than I am the main event. And I love the main event too, but I really like this fight. And the unfortunate thing is I actually think Zhang Weili is just going to beat the brakes out of Valentina. Like, she's just going to beat her. And I don't think this fight is all that competitive either. Like, maybe that's just a terrible read on my part, but just going back and rewatching a bunch of fights over the last few days, I think Zhang has a really good chance to just go in there and thump her. But we'll see. We've seen her lay a couple of eggs too.
I'll be astonished if this fight, whoever wins, you could convince me either woman is going to win this fight. I do not believe, like, the outcome that would shock me the most is if it was one-way traffic either way. This fight feels incredibly nip-tuck, super close, one on the margins, maybe legitimately just one because in the 5th round, Valentina spins and Zhang grabs the back or something like that. Like, just the smallest of margins will decide this one, in my opinion. And it's why, like, I have gotten progressively more excited as the build to this. Like, when it was first announced, I was like, yeah, there's nothing else to do. It was sort of a like, okay, there's no real other things to do here. And as I've thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I wish Shevchenko were a little younger. It's not like Zhang's super young, you know, like, she's 1 year younger. She has a lot less mileage. Shevchenko's been fighting for 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, it's so many fights that she has. And I think certainly I do not believe the best Shevchenko we've ever seen will be on Saturday night. I probably don't think we're going to get the best Zhang we've ever seen, but that's at least still in play to me, that she could still have not started to decline, whereas I think Shevchenko unambiguously is declining a little bit. But that also just sort of makes it even more competitive to me. It's like, okay, I think the best Shevchenko pretty easily walks over the best Zhang, but if she's dropped a little bit, like, the stakes here, if Zhang wins this fight, she will have such an interesting case for GOAT status, because she clearly lost to Rose twice, and not like early in her career, like at the peak of her powers functionally, and, you know, at the start of the peak of her powers. And so it becomes fascinating sort of where you put her in that. And then, like, honestly, it would be silly. I would immediately be like, hey, have her fight Kayla. Let's just get weird with it, you know? Like, who cares? And so, like, I don't think that would happen, but it would be a fun thing to do. I think the outcomes here are interesting, and I think this is to me, this is, like I said, it's the most significant female fight that's ever been booked. I do not believe it will be that. I think it'll be tense. I don't think it'll be fun. I do not anticipate us getting a, you know, Zhang Jędrzejczyk style all-time classic, but it's so meaningful. Like, it's so meaningful to the sport in a way that is like once in a generation. We do not, and nobody's talking about it like that because it's women's MMA and both of them have been around forever. But, like, When did Zhang win the belt?
MSG against Carlos
reclaim the
Esparza,
belt.
2022, November 2022, I believe.
That is correct. So she has reclaimed the belt in 2022. She has been a champion of this weight class for 3 years. Shevchenko obviously fairly recently reclaimed the belt, but has functionally been the champion of this weight class for almost a decade. Right? Like, she won the title in 2018. So, she did lose it, but she got it back and has since defended it. That doesn't, like, what, I don't know what's the comp? When in history have we seen two champions of this long reign to be battling each other? I know technically Zhang's not the champion anymore, but like, BJ had like one title defense when he went up to fight GSP, right? Because they had already had the backstory. He was already a welterweight champion, et cetera, et cetera. Conor famously had never, did not really reign. He won the featherweight belt and then won the lightweight belt. Ilya earlier this year had one title defense. This is epic shit. And I am here for it.
Like, the one thing I think about is, like, man, if Val didn't lose to Grasso at UFC 285, like, we could have got this fight in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We could have got this 2 years ago. Maybe.
But it would have been different. I think ultimately that is better, but in 2023, I'm much more interested in this fight now after seeing what Zhang has done in her past two efforts, right?
No, that makes sense.
Where in 2023, I would have been like, okay, Val's just going to kill her. We're like, yeah, I've seen Val fight a very strong strawweight, and it was probably the best performance of her career, running over Jessica Andrade. And at that point, I've been like, I've also seen Zhang get tackled by the infamous wrestler Rose Namajunas, Whereas now I'm like, she just dummied Tatiana. I think I'm more into this fight, interested in the outcomes of this fight now than I would have been then. But there is certainly a piece of it that it feels bigger back then, right?
Yeah, I predict we will have a watch party clip from that fight, one way or the other.
Almost certainly.
Chase, does Gaethje actually retire if he doesn't get a title shot?
The answer to retirement questions is always no. So I'll go with no.
I'm going to say yes, actually. I'm going to say yes. And even if he does get a title shot, I think he retires after that fight, win or lose. I think he's so into golf right now. Like, he's doing a lot of golf content. I think this is the most fun I've ever seen Justin Gaethje have in a public setting. Like, normally he's just like, yeah, I love fighting, and he's delivered some bangers, and he looks like he's having a great time when he's actually, like, hitting people. But, yeah, like, the golf content he's putting out, like, I think this is where his future is, and I think he sees that himself, and I think he's got such a name that he can get sponsors and make some good money off of it. So, I think he's fine walking away. I don't know what, like, if he doesn't get a title fight, like, what keeps him here? Like, what does he want? What would he want to do that, like, gets him back in the cage when he could just go play golf with his buddies and make money doing that?
Dan Hooker.
Yeah, maybe.
If Hooker beats Sarukian,
then Hooker's gonna fight Holloway. Or
maybe.
Or Oliveira.
I think
whoever wins
because Holloway's fighting Oliveira.
Yeah, whoever wins that, he gets a BMF title fight if he wins that fight. Why would he fight Gaethje?
Because Dan Hooker doesn't really care about that sort of thing.
I think he'd care about the BMF belt.
Yeah, but I think the sales pitch is, okay, we're giving it to Patty, but Dan Hooker just beat Arman. Ilya needs a new title defender or defense after he beats Patty. You and Hooker fight for it. You were supposed to functionally fight for it previously. That got upended. Title eliminator. No doubt about it, an on-paper title eliminator will come out and say, this is for a lightweight title fight. I think that would get him in, but that's also dependent on Hooker winning. Yeah. And I don't suspect he's going to.
Yeah, that's a tough one for him. It's a tough one for him.
I could see it. My default answer is just always that retirements aren't real in this sport, so never believe in them.
Yeah.
Habib is the only one whose retirement I believed in at the time, and that was for an incredibly different and specific reason. So if something like that happens, absolutely believe in the retirement. Outside of personal tragedy, they're always going to fight again. They're always going to fight again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a whole new world now. Like, Gaethje gets to do what he truly loves make money off of it. So, I mean, like...
I don't know if it's a whole new world, man. It's fighters are fighters. They're crazy people.
Maybe.
And it's hard. I mean, the history of boxing, much less... it's hard. They don't walk away. They never walk away. I would love to see Gaethje retire. I'd be sad about it because he is one of my favorite fighters of all time. I think he is at absolute bare minimum the second most exciting fighter to literally ever step into a cage. And so the sport will be less with his absence. But I would also like him to lead a happy, healthy life and not sacrifice his well-being for my enjoyment that much longer. So if he walked away, I would support it. I'll believe when I see it.
Something to certainly keep an eye on, ladies and gentlemen. This is for you, Jed. Super chat from Hugo. Do you believe in the Verstappen comeback?
Nah, he done. This weekend killed him. It is a testament to how great Max is that he has taken a car that I think the Red Bull is better than people are giving it credit for. It's had super low points this season. I'm not saying that. And he has dragged it up in a way that he's the best car driver in the world. Like, I don't think that's really disputable. But this weekend sort of turfed his chances. He's like 50 points back with 4 races and a sprint to go. It's like it is mathematically possible for him to overtake Lando at this point. It's unlikely. He basically can't finish lower than second, and he needs a DNF from Lando in one of these. Possible, unlikely. Especially Lando knows it, and so Lando can just... At this point, Lando knows that if he finishes literally second place in every remaining race, he wins. And so McLaren's probably going to use Piastri to play defense because Piastri has completely lost the plot. Like, technically, Piastri's second in points. That Max is going to surpass Piastri. I believe that, but I don't think he can close the gap on Lando. But this is honestly his most impressive racing season that I've ever seen from him. Like, I think this season is significantly more impressive than any of his actual championship wins and the sort of like kind of BS 21 and 21. F1, boys. It's a terrific sport.
Lazy Vet, MMA Fighting reported ref Herb Dean gave an interview to the Believe You Me pod where he said the new rule change is to enforce existing rules. I love this. Thank you, Lazy.
I hope that's actually like the words used.
Oh, Jed, I'm gonna pull it up right now.
I haven't seen it. I've been off all day. I saw the Herb Dean gave some sort of thing, but
your laughing reaction right there is exactly how I sounded sitting on the couch listening to this interview. Let me pull up.
I love that so much.
So here's what he said. So he was asked, Herb was on Believe You Me, and he was asked, about, hey, after the Aspinall thing, you guys said that you're going to have a meeting about rules and eye pokes and stuff. And Herb's like, yeah, we had it. And this is what he said. Quote, so far, what we're talking about is we've made rules. So we made a rule. It's a foul to extend the fingers towards the eyes. Now, mind you, when Herb Dean says, so we made a rule, it's a foul to extend the fingers towards the eyes, Paul Felder is literally on the screen after he says the sentence, and he claps. Yeah, good job. And here's the next sentence Herb Dean says. That's the rule we've already had in place. So that rule has been there.
That rule's been there for years.
Listen to this. So that rule has been there, but we haven't been enforcing it. So we're going to move forward on that. I think people would not have been used to seeing someone get a point taken because most of the time when we take a point, it's more of a reactive to the damaging and the unbalancing of the fight that's been done by a foul. And that's the only way we could think to balance it. But this right here is a dangerous foul, and somebody's going to keep doing a dangerous action. We should start taking points by them doing that action before it actually happens to hurt somebody. The other thing about MMA is, we have a 1-point sport. The majority of 3-round fights, what's the score? 29-28. So if you take 1 point, you've taken a majority of wins and turned it into a draw. But we're going to have to do something. So that's one of the things we thought about that we're going to be doing. That's something that's going to happen. So a rule that was already in place and has been for years, what they have discussed is they are now going to enforce that rule that has been at play for years and years and years, but actually start enforcing it and maybe taking a point. What did you think of this? Because that's exactly what this says.
I've conflicted feelings. Good. I'm infuriated. I'm infuriated for 2 reasons. One, that is on its face a stupid thing. Like, that's just like, that is a prima facie idiot thing. I encourage anyone to provide the argument to me why we're going to start enforcing the rules. Like, why have them? What is the purpose of rules if not to enforce them? Like, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean scene. They're more like guidelines. No, this is a sport. What are you talking about? Can you imagine in any other like premier sport where they're like, yeah, we don't really do it or whatever? It's like yeah, like technically on the books, if you kick some dude in the shin, that's a foul. But we're just like, it's okay, hack them away, play on in soccer or some shit. It's insane. It's an insane thing to be like, yeah, there's a rule that we just chose not to enforce because we thought the fans might feel a type of way about it. It's like, okay, I didn't realize your job was the quality of viewing experience for the fans. I thought your job was protect fighters, 1, 2, enforce the rules. What the fuck is happening? It's insane to me that is like, that I see why refs don't talk to people because they say shit like this. And 2, and possibly more infuriating, like, I can't, as this was happening, I was just like, as you were reading that, and I pulled up the quotes and looking over them, none of what he said is like, all of what he said is true, but none of it's true, if that makes sense, Mike. Because like the part that got me, that I've been in a spin for the last 2 minutes, is trying to be like, what did you think was happening, Herbert? Like, what was going on? Where is it? The rules already in place. Blah, blah, blah. It's more of a reactive to the damaging and unbalancing of the fight that's been done by a foul. Okay, so that is correct. That is on the books how the rules are written, and frankly, like the correct application of taking points. You take points to rebalance a fight that has been unbalanced, because it's the only way we have to balance fights, right? Like, the non-offending fighter has been injured. The only way to make that good is to take a point. That's why, in general, you don't take point. Like, they are very reticent to take points for cage grabs because, like, you know, it doesn't feel like that equivalent, like, was equivalent. But, like, very clearly, he states, and is correct, here's why we take points and when it happens. Except, you tell me the last time Herb Dean took a point. Because he takes 1 point every 3 years, and fights are unbalanced. It happens all the time. So he knows that this is when it is done and why it is applied. And he almost never chooses to apply it, which is infuriating to be like, I know that I'm supposed to do this. I know why. And I'm looking this dude in the eye. I'm looking Kevin Holland, you know, who got low blowed or whatever in the eye, and seeing that he's clearly affected. Play on. Like, it's infuriating that like, because before this I could have been like, well, maybe they're just stupid, maybe they just don't know the rules, which is also bad, but like, they're not this. And so, like, you know it and you don't apply it, which then leads me to my final point. Nothing's going to change. because like we're going to enforce the rules. What does that mean? If you're going to enforce the rules the way you currently enforce the eye poke rule, that means you're just going to tell them to stop doing it. Well, stop doing it. So don't do it. Oh, you've done it 8 times. Maybe one more time it'll be a problem. Like it's insane, man. Just remove the ambiguity. I am now more confident than I've ever been in my belief that we should take a point for every infraction. If you want to rewrite the rules so it can be a half point, okay. I think that's a little silly, but sure. But I can't, looking at this damn quote, I don't trust any ref to make a judgment call ever anymore because apparently they can't. And so why is there ambiguity? They need to be robots. They are automatons of foul occurred, penalty given. Because if you're giving them any sort of interpretive leeway, apparently they suck at it. That's what I got from this. This was awful. God damn, that ruined my day.
Yeah. And then he said they're going to rewrite the language as to like what the fingers can do, because his argument was for the Aspinall eye poke, Gane wasn't fighting like this. He was fighting like this. So like the fingers more like up in the air, but then they like automatically came down on it. So they're going to redo that. And then he said,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, by the way. Like, yes, Cyril Gane wasn't Jon Jonesing. Like he was not straight up, like Three Stoogesing, but Herb, I don't know if you know this. The fingers ended up in the eyeballs. They didn't come up from here to the eyeballs. They came into the eyeballs. Like what? Oh my God. Also, that sort of goes against the whole previous point, which is, well, it's to rebalance the fight. It doesn't matter how my finger ends up in your eyeball. It ended up there. The fight is unbalanced now. This is how we bring it back to order. This is like basic common sense that is so not difficult to fix. And it is being treated as if it's the greatest mystery in the history of the world. Like this is being acted as if it's the fucking Finding Atlantis or some shit. When it is like a 6-year-old could figure this out. I don't understand why it's so hard.
Last thing he says about this, I was laughing too hard, so I had to stop listening at this point.
So bad, dude.
Quote, when Sean Strickland fights, I know he has a bad boy image. I'm not trying to make him a teacher's pet, but man, he's my favorite. When I see him come out with this, and
it's legitimately correct.
Yeah, he basically does this. Like instead of doing this, like Sean's doing this.
Yeah.
And he's parrying all around. I don't have to worry about the fingers. He's right. Completely correct.
Yeah, Sean Strickland. Somebody pointed this out, and I don't remember who because it happened. This was immediately after the Tom thing. And I thought it was a really good point. Israel Adesanya, right? Like how is I'm not saying he's never poked anybody in the eye because I don't, but it is not a thing that happens. And you know why it doesn't happen? Because when he posts and parries, like when he is posting off the face, which is what Gane was doing or whatever, like he's not posting with his fingers up. He posts off the face parallel. It is much more difficult to get your fingers in the eye if you're going here than if you're just going at somebody's face like this. Like that's just like it is not a thing that has to happen. Again, I've said this before. I already wrote about it. I argued. I don't even give a shit if it is. Like I do not care. We expect professional athletes to be in control of themselves in ways that are unnatural constantly, all the time. That is what you get paid money for. If you and I are fist fighting, Mike, yeah, man, maybe I might poke you in the eyes by accident. That's sort of part and parcel of us not being professionals. They're professional athletes. We can elevate our expectations for what is demanded of them. And plenty of fighters, Sean Strickland, do. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? It is not hard. Make a rule book that's longer than 6 pages because there's not a shortage of trees on this earth. This is not we got to save the ecosystem by keeping it as minimal as possible. Expansive rule book outlining every possible scenario and explicitly how we respond to it. And then guess what, Mike? Maybe a coffin corner case happens and it's not in the rule book. You know what we do then? We add it. We add it after it happens, but you cover everything you can in as much detail as possible, so there's none of this stupid-ass interpretation about what we can and cannot or choose not to enforce. This is the expectation of businesses and adults the world over, and it's just a fucking free-for-all in this sport. It is wild.
What a time. Good at me, Doug. Remember when Mike said Monday we'd have big news from Dana? I'm sorry, I took a stab and was wrong. What do you want me to tell you? We're gonna get the news this week. Like I
maybe it's not. That would be way better if come January we still didn't know who was fighting January.
And they just
16th or whatever.
Tune into Paramount on January 21st, whatever it is. Find out who's fighting. I always said they should have done that with Tony and Habib. Like, just don't announce it.
Yeah, it would have been
just be like, tune in on UFC Fight Pass for pay-per-view. It's $9.99. Biggest main event in UFC history. It's going to happen at the Apex. And just don't announce it and just have both guys like show up and fight. That would be the greatest thing. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going by the UFC playbook, man. There's a shit ton of bad PR going on right now with that company. I mean, like, real bad. And you would think that they want to get the attention moving in a more positive direction, but it just shows that they just don't care about any of it. So, and that's what happens when you win the race. Like, you don't need to cater to that and like shift the court of public opinion and how people view you. Like, they don't have to do that right now. They have so much backing. They have the right people on their side. Like, they don't need to worry about any of this shit. So I'm sorry if I threw out a guess and I was incorrect, but we're 6 weeks away.
I'm embarrassed for you, Michael.
I know. I should strip me of my reporter title because
you
I
do
took
this
a stab.
And you don't cover one. What the shit?
And I don't cover one Muay Thai. Yeah. A company that's hanging on by.
Also, just so we're clear on the one thing, who was the RDR guy before anybody was talking about that guy?
That's
right
true.
Here. Wear it.
Very, very true. Ace Boogie, surprised by the Prates-Leon line. His only path to victory to be as a KO, and I don't think he has the footwork to track Leon. SN, Gable Stevenson versus Josh Hoke at early prelim opener at the White House.
That is not the worst idea I've ever heard.
I love that idea. They'll never do it because I think the UFC is going to try to push both those dudes. So
you're probably right, but that's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Be a great fight. They're going to give Gable. They're going to bring. The UFC's going to sign Billy Swanson to fight at the White House. Like, that's what they're going to do. Like, they're going to give Gable a good old fashioned squasharoo. Or who's Nothing the dude that who the dude Hoke could just beat? Jimenez. They're going to give him. Like, that's perfect. Go out there and just style, because that's what's going to happen. So, but as far as the Prates-Leon line, according to our friends at FanDuel, Jed, Prates a -215 favorite. The comeback on Leon Edwards +164. Do you agree? Are you surprised by the betting line here?
I'm not. I think the line's exactly spot on. Leon can win this fight. It is a different fight than the previous two, right? Like, Prates isn't going to take him down, and that, despite the fact that Leon has pretty good takedown defense historically, and I know that people who are recent fans will not agree with that statement, because they watched him fall over every time he was touched functionally against Bilal and Brady. And he himself is a pretty good offensive wrestler and clinch fighter, so like, he has avenues to succeed here. I'm picking Prates. I have a bet on Prates. Again, Leon can win. I have two main concerns, and they're a little bit interwoven. The first is, how do I put this delicately? Leon's a head case, and I talked about this a lot on No Bets Barred. Again, it drops tomorrow morning. Leon, Mike, what is the defining moment of Leon Edwards' career? Like, when he's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, what is the clip that will play?
The head kick of Kamaru Usman.
Not even the head kick. I mean, the head kick will be part of it, but it won't be of him. It will be of his coach pleading with this man, like vintage Teddy Atlas. Stop letting him bully you. You're not out of this fight. Please, like, I believe in you. Don't let him do it, son. Try, commit, be like, it is the defining moment of his career is not even of himself. It is of him sitting there looking sullen and defeated while the commentary is like, Leon's mentally broken and his coach is begging him to not be. And then he throws, one of the greatest strikes in the history of the sport. And it's this crowning incredible achievement. But that is kind of the story of Leon Edwards. Like, yeah, this dude is super talented, but he is a bit of a head case. And looking at his career right now, I'm like, yeah, I think the head kick was a little bit lucky, right? Like he threw it. So it's not a fluke. He threw it thing, but like, I don't know that he was really setting that up in the long term. Like he saw an opening, threw it, and it happened to kill Usman. And then in the rematch, which I think is Leon's best performance of all time, he suddenly had belief and self-confidence. It was like, okay, yeah, man, like I am the best dude in the world. And the moment things got bad, like the moment Bilal got in front of him, he just collapsed. Like his everything about him just sort of fell apart. And that translated over into the Sean Brady fight. And I just do not believe in his mental headspace right now. And so, he's going to come in, and Carlos Prates, the difference in vibes between these two could not be more stark. And the last thing I'll say, the other part of it, outside of all of that, which is the biggest piece of it, basically in every fight, Leon lets his opponents into it at some point. I mean, the shell of Nate Diaz nearly got him right at the end of that fight. And if the shell of Nate Diaz can do that to you, man, Carlos Prates is going to end your line. So, if Leon comes out and looks rejuvenated and scores a bunch of takedowns, that'll be dope. But Carlos Prates is actually a pretty good defensive wrestler. I think this line is correctly lined, and maybe it's not even heavily enough towards Prates.
Yeah. It's so funny when people like, even Usman himself, when he reflects on the Leon Edwards like moment there, he was like, I'm not going to say it's a fluke. And he always says fluke, and then he goes, no, I'm not going to say it's a fluke. It's a Hail Mary. And he's not wrong. It's absolutely
that is, in fact, the exact correct way to describe it.
1,000,000%. He goes, if it wasn't for a Hail Mary or a fluke, oh, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't a fluke. It was a Hail Mary. We wouldn't even be having this conversation right now about me being next for the belt because I'd still be champion. But then he always forgets that they fought again, and Leon beat him convincingly.
Yeah.
Like, it was not a close fight. It was not a fight where it's like,
very clear performance and win.
Very clear. So like, it's how that is forgotten from history in this conversation is hilarious. And smart from Usman to not mention that. It should be Hail Mary, and then I fought Khamzat Chimaev. It's like the third fight never happened with Leon. But that was like you got a run back. They gave you a chance to avenge it, and you didn't. So like, that's why I'm like, why are we having him jump the line here? But again, you're absolutely right. Because even in the Colby fight, like Leon beat Colby like very convincingly. But that fifth round, like Colby started getting in his face. He took him to the ground, won the fifth round. I mean, Leon might have been cruising a little bit because he was so far ahead on the cards. But I mean, Prates is like,
once you can put doubt in him, the doubt takes over.
That's why quickly. This is a great fight. I think this is perfect matchmaking.
Carlos Prates does not doubt anything other than that, like maybe cigarettes are bad for you. Like he might doubt that, but he certainly doesn't doubt his ability to do violence.
Yeah. The Masvidal fight was always the one, just because like it's whatever juice is left, like it's very little. So just do it at this point. But if we're not doing Masvidal, this is the right fight because we're going to learn that. We talk about this all the time, Jed. Like we want to learn things about these fighters. Even a guy like Leon Edwards at this point in his career, like we feel like guys like this who have been around so long, we've learned everything we need to know. We haven't. We could learn something new about Leon Edwards tonight or on Saturday. And that's what makes me very excited.
It's great matchmaking, man. Like 100%. It's great matchmaking. Both guys can win. Like I do believe Leon can win. He's incredibly talented. And he's not like old, but I got to tell you, man, as I started doing breakdowns of this, I got major Tyron Woodley vibes of like when he fell off, the train never got on the tracks again. Like, cause okay, Tyron Woodley lost to Kamaru Usman. Well, Kamaru Usman is one of the greatest welterweights of all time. No shame in that. Well, he lost to Colby Covington. Well, Colby's good, man. Like Colby at his peak was one of the 3 best welterweights in the world. Like a very good dude. I lost to Gilbert Burns. Okay, Gilbert Burns is good, but like we're clearly taking steps backwards now. Well, he got bravoed by Vicente Luque, who we all love, but like it's Vicente Luque, man. It feels like this is exactly okay. Leon lost the belt. Okay, lost to a really, really good guy. Okay, now Carlos Prates is kind of Gilbert Burnsy, right? Like they're in a pretty similar sort of tier range. And it's just like, yeah, man, it feels like he's not going to get the train on the tracks.
Yeah. I mean, a loss is, I don't think he's ever fighting for the belt again.
Absolutely not. I don't think he is anyway. With a loss, it's 100%.
Yeah, with a win, with a loss, like he's so far away at this point. I mean, the Sean Brady loss is like so etched in people's minds where it was one of the biggest thumpings in a welterweight fight in a long time with like top ranked guys. Like that was like
that are bad for your career.
Yeah. That wasn't quite fluffy Roman Dolidze, but it was like a step below it. Dude. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. It's a big one for him. Spencer, gotta say, excited for Islam Jack, but I'm a bit sad with the trajectory of Islam's career and wish he stayed at lightweight longer. If he does win, is he top 10 men's pound for pound all time? And if not, how many W's away is he from top 10?
I think this is a really good question. Mike, what do you think?
If he wins, is he top 10? I think he's really close. Like I have to sit there and like list them off and do it like I do rankings. Like if I really like take my time and go through pound for pound rankings, like I'm gonna have to go through the same strategy. I would say he's probably just short of top 10 right now. Maybe like he's probably inside of 20 at the moment, and I think a win might bump him up like a couple of spots. And then if he beats Usman, it does nothing for me at all, really, at this point. But if he beats Ilya and beats Shavkat, like Matt Brown's point was, and I want to present this back to you. Matt Brown says like if Islam goes on a 4-fight win streak at welterweight, like he's in not just the top 10 discussion, he's in
that's correct take.
He's in the all-time.
That's correct take.
I agree. But how many wins will it take to get him like? Oh yeah, he's clearly in the top 10. Because Usman, this win would be great. Usman doesn't do much for me. You think him and Usman gets him there? I think he needs one more.
I think Usman does enough for me. There are people who already think that a win will put him in the top 5 because people have been coming at me in my mentions.
Okay.
I think those people are wrong and stupid. Not even like just outright. I think you are dumb. Or maybe not dumb. I think you do not have any understanding that things happened before the past 5 years and that, historical stuff exists. He might be he will have a case certainly for top 10 if he beats Jack. I think I would still have him outside of it very, very closely because the thing that I feel a lot that I think people just they don't think about it. And I think if they thought about it, they would recognize this more. Everybody is so impressed with winning a belt in a second weight class, and it's impressive. I'm not here to say that that's a nothing accomplishment. It is a very good one, right? Winning a belt in a second weight class doesn't mean you are the best fighter in the world of that weight class. It means you won one fight in that weight class, right? Like, that's it. It means that, and maybe that was just a favorable matchup. Everybody acknowledges that styles make fights and that this sport has a huge degree of randomness involved. But they can acknowledge that on one hand, and then they're like, well, but he won this belt, greatest fighter who's ever lived. If Islam Makhachev beats Jack Della Maddalena, he will, on paper, be the best welterweight in the world. Is he actually? I don't know. He could be. I'm not saying he's not. And he deservedly has the belt that generally represents that. But in the context of what that means, the best fighter in a weight class is a guy who's been doing the work in that weight class and has beaten a bunch of dudes to establish himself clearly as the best guy, right? And so, like, Islam could be better than everybody else, but it also could be, Shavkat Rakhmonov or Sean Brady or any of these, Michael Morales or whatever. So he won't really have a claim to being the best welterweight in the world. He will just have won the belt, which, again, not nothing. I just want to put that in context there. A defense, even if it is against Kamaru Usman, right? Like, who wouldn't deserve it. Kamaru Usman's still a top 10 guy. That's still more proof that he is amongst, if not the best welterweight, as opposed to just beating one guy one time. Because, like, and when I make that thing, it's like, nobody other than the most ardent fans would ever suggest that Conor McGregor has ever been the best lightweight in the world. He just beat Eddie Alvarez's ass because he got the opportunity and he won the fight. But at any point in time, Khabib was better than him, etc. And so the same thing is here. I think any title defense helps his case and probably puts him in the top 10. But I've said it a bunch on this program and others. There are 6. There is the pantheon of 6 of the greatest fighters of all time. There's Jon Jones, Anderson Silva, Fedor Emelianenko, Jose Aldo, George St. Pierre, and who's the other person in the 6 that I'm not thinking about? It's hard to remember. Oh, Demetrius Johnson. Those 6, they are the best. They're the 6 best fighters who've ever lived. To me, I think very, very clearly, Alexander Volkanovski, Khabib Nurmagomedov are also in the top 10. Khabib, I'm at least open to an argument because his career was truncated, etc. But he did enough. He's accomplished enough. Also, Merab is about to be 7. He's about to join the pantheon. Many people already have him in there. If he beats Petr Yan, he's in the pantheon. It's the 7 plus Alexander Volkanovski makes 8. That leaves 2 spots left in the top 10. Islam will be great. You can sort of poke holes in his career, not his fault, but a thing that happened. And so for 2 spots to be, like Israel Adesanya had a great career. Alex Pereira having an amazing career and still going. Like, there are a lot of guys with claims for very few spots in the top 10, but he will definitely have a very valid argument for it. And I think if he does defend the belt once, I'm really open to it. I'm really, really open to it.
I mean, we'll see. He's got to beat JDM, so that's the first thing. Boy, I gotta tell you, watching JDM fights over the last couple days has been really fun.
He's dope, man.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was fun, and I knew it would be a good exercise, but I didn't realize like how much fun I had, or I was going to have until I started watching them. I was like, ooh.
He can absolutely win this fight.
He absolutely can.
I'm not going to pick him to, but he certainly can.
Yeah, he absolutely can. I'm probably going to bet on him because I do think this fight should be lying closer. So I do think there's a little bit of value on JDM. I think he's being overlooked a touch here, but great fight. I'm looking forward to it.
I think that makes sense. My take on this is your take on the co-main.
You think he's going to smoke him?
I think Islam might just beat the shit out of him. And that's not a statement about Jack Della Maddalena, who I believe is one of the 5 best welterweights on earth and very, very good. And not at his peak, right? Like this will be the best one we've ever seen on Saturday. And he's still got years to sort of hit that peak. I don't know. The energies of the universe feel like Islam Makhachev is heading towards a significant coronation.
Bobby, if the Pats and Colts meet in the playoffs, special watch party?
I mean, I don't know when that would happen, but maybe. You've met my buddy Graham, who is from Boston and a big Pats fan. We have been we're in a fantasy league together. We're in a big group chat. We've been talking a lot about it because neither of us entered this season with expectations. And, all of our friend group, there's actually a very diverse, like one of our friends is a Dolphins fan, a bunch of Falcons fans or whatever. And it's just like, somehow our teams are the good ones. And it's like, it's like 05 again, man. Like suddenly it's Pats and Colts, baby, in the AFC Championship. Who knew? It's terrific. I'm having a great time.
I'm enjoying this.
So much fun.
I was talking to my cousin the other day when I was driving up, and we were talking about like how good the Patriots are right now. And he goes, in like his super thick Boston accent, he goes, I can't wait for all the Bills fans to cry about it. They're going to say you guys have been irrelevant the Patriots have been irrelevant, and then nobody gave a shit. And now they go out there and they beat the Bills, and the Bills are out here losing to the fucking Miami Dolphins. He goes, and all this stuff, like, and I was just like, yeah, you're probably right. And now you're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing it everywhere. I saw Helwani go off on this the other day. I was like, we were just talking about this. That, oh, you guys are irrelevant. Of course the Patriots fans are going to come out and trash the Bills fans. No, this is just fun. But he called it. He goes, wait till you see all the Bills fans who have platforms are going to come out and say this shit. And it was terrific.
It's one of we have a guy who's a Bills fan as well. It's I need everyone that's not a fan of those two teams, or everyone that is a fan of those two teams, to understand that everyone else hates you both right now. Like, everybody has always hated the Patriots. They're a great villain, right? Like, they just are, and now they're back, and that feels thing. But like, and I understand that the Bills have a little brother syndrome about this, and that they are taking this especially hard. And in part, the Pats fans are absolutely needling them in a way that is,
we're the best at it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it cool, but it's definitely like your Pats fans clearly have been feeling some type of way about the ascendance of Josh Allen and the Bills the last 5 years. And now they're taking this window to sort of strike back. And it's just like people like Josh Allen, but Bills fans and people broadly support the Bills. Like, I guess this is really more like nobody's ever going to like the Patriots except for the Patriots fans. Like, it would need 20 years of y'all sucking to get back in the good graces of people. And so y'all are okay with that mantle. But specifically Ariel and like other Bills fans, I feel like you're burning the goodwill that the other fan bases have for you, because last season, I think everybody was like, man, if the Bills won, that'd be sick. Josh Allen's cool. Buffalo deserves its great fan base. But like, going this direction because the Pats are poking you, sometimes you got to ignore. You got to ignore the poke, and like very clearly, because I know this because again, I was in a room with a Bills fan and a Pats fan as that game was happening, and the Bills fan was just shitty, was being there furious, and the Pats fan was shit-eatingly be like, man, sucks that you missed your window, that Drake May's the best quarterback in the conference now, and he was losing his mind. You got to ignore it, because otherwise the fans of the other 30 teams are going to stop being like, it'd be cool. Nobody will ever be like, well, we want the Pats. And we'll be like, yeah, man, I don't really care if Josh Allen beats the Chiefs. It doesn't matter to me anymore, because you guys are burning your goodwill by acting this way. Don't respond. Take the high road.
That's right. That's how you do it. You act like it never happened. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
When you react to somebody saying a statement like that, they're winning. When like, oh, sucks that you guys missed your window, and then you get angry about it, they have won. You gotta just be like, we'll see about that, or whatever.
Yeah. See, our mentality is like, the Bills could go and the Bills could like
burn the house down.
Yeah, the Bills could like go in there and beat the Patriots in like the AFC Championship game and like beat the shit out of them. Like like they could do that, and they will celebrate. It was just like the Knicks. It was just like when the Knicks beat the Celtics. Like, their fan base was like, F Jason Tatum. I'm glad he got injured. We're the best. We're the champs. And then you went out and just got absolutely dummied in the next round. So like that was your victory celebration. And Bills fans will do the same thing. Like, they go, even if they win the Super Bowl, they will be like, yeah, got it, did it. But then, like, in our minds, we're like, yeah, but you got to win 6 more to actually beat us, though. Like, that's great that you won 1. I'm proud of you. Good job, little brother. But you got to win 6 more until you can ever do that. It's just like Yankees fans, the only ones who can't say that are Yankees fans, because they have, like, all the banners up there, but we have the 3-0 comeback. And, like, the Yankees could win 100 championships, beat the Red Sox in the ALCS every single time, but they will always lose the race because of 2004.
This is a terrific insight into the mind of a Boston sports fan.
Yeah, we're the best.
How you can do the mental gymnastics to make sure you win regardless.
Yeah, we're assholes.
I respect the ability. I don't agree with most of it, and I think it's largely insane, but you live in your world, and that's okay. Bills fans need to, because like the reason it's getting to them is because and for good reason, they can't trust that this is real, right? Because they have yet to win the big one, so they've not gotten the monkey off their back, and it is very clearly that there's like just true fear that that's real. They're like, oh shit, our window did miss, and we didn't get there, and that sucks.
But you see how this works? Look at the comments. I can feel the virtual tears. I'll go get my umbrella right now. Like, I'm gonna go grab my umbrella so I can avoid myself of the tears of the non-New England fans. It's terrific. But you see this, like this is just funny. Like, this stuff annoys people and they take it personally.
Look,
we don't care.
They're Boston as a city is a terrific villain city.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Everybody needs a villain. They fill that role. They haven't for a while in football because they've sucked. Now they don't.
That's right.
You know, the thing that I think, the way you get back at Boston fans, if you're a Bills fan, I know this because the Boston fans in my life, people were starting to hate the Chiefs because they were
sure were.
But Boston Boston hasn't actually accomplished anything, but they're already like assuming the role, and it's letting the Chiefs kind of get back to thing. And I got to tell you, there's nothing that I know a Pats fan hates more than Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. So you just got to be like, yeah, well, let's go Mahomes or whatever, and that'll infuriate the Patriots fans because they are terrified that by the end of it, Patrick Mahomes will overtake Brady. I don't think he will because it's just...
Dude's incredible. He's absolutely
he's incredible, but it's so hard to get that, like, to that level.
Yeah.
But, like, for the last 5 years, Graham, my Patriots friend, the only, like, his Super Bowl has been the Chiefs losing. Like, it's the only thing he has wanted is Chiefs losing. And 2 years, it failed miserably, and he couldn't have been happier last season watching that Super Bowl. Like, it was as if the Patriots won another one because the Eagles just beat the tar out of the Chiefs, and he loved life.
Yeah. Look, by the way, just so we're clear, I'm just messing around here. Like, I love the New England teams, but see, this is just a prime example of, like, we know what to say and what to do to, like, piss off everybody.
You're terrific villains.
So it's all good. Listen, I'm trust me when I tell you this. If we found like 2006 Mike Heck and put him on the show right now, you would hate me. Like, you would hate me so much.
What's interesting is there aren't really any good MMA Boston villains. Like, nobody from Boston has, like, really been like a heel.
No, they've all been really good dudes.
Yeah, people just like them. They're, like, likable.
Cater, Font, Lozon.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a untapped potential for just some masshole to really stick his nose in and establish himself as, like, one of the premier heels in the sport.
I'm actually talking to
Talk to some Boston people because there's a window. There's an opening.
I'm talking to just a New England person in general. Like, I'm talking to Nate Garib, who's actually fighting on the LFA card at the top of the hour. Who, oddly enough, like, I've known Nate for a long time. He's at ATT now training, but Nate's, I think, in the co-main event of Friday's card, excuse me. And great point from Ghost.
Ghost makes a good point.
That's a great point. I'll pull that up in a second. But
yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I actually ring announced, like, Nate's, like, last amateur fight and his first pro fight. So to see him, like, in this position, and, like, now I'm going to be speaking with him before this fight on Friday is pretty wild. But maybe I'll be like, dude, maybe you just be like the heel, just be the Boston asshole. It'd be great. Dana White is from Boston, the ultimate villain.
So there's a good point. I will just quibble with it in that, one, for most MMA fans, Dana White is the hero, not the villain.
That's true.
And two, he's not a fighter, so it's not the same. Like, just
But he is the star in the face of the company.
But get us a real masshole in there to push buttons and, you know, like obnoxiously rock Patriots gear everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Who
you
could
know,
be?
and just like because honestly, like I've given Colby Covington a ton of credit for this in his career. And I did recently on a show. Like I think Colby Covington made an incredibly wise career move in associating himself with the MAGA movement. Setting aside politics or anything, I'm not I don't care about that. He connected himself to a rising movement that had ardent fans and ardent haters. And strictly just through doing that became a polarizing, a headline grabbing figure. Either you were a fan of him because you were a fan of the political movement he associated with, and that's as good a reason to like anybody for anything, frankly, or you hated him because of the political movement he associated with and he was annoying. And so he didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to cut good promos. He just made it. These two things are connected. Big window for an MMA fighter to just do that with like Patriots and like Boston sports, to just be the Boston sports fighter, because fans of non-combat sports that aren't either from Boston will love him. And everyone else will be like, I hate that dude because I hate the Patriots. Big opportunity. And there's like, not the like, you know, that's never going to close marketing opportunities if you're the Patriot sports guy, right? Whereas like your political associations may or may not hurt your other like external branding opportunities. So a huge opportunity. If I was from Boston, would absolutely just lean into that.
I love that so much. What a great shout. What a great shout right there. Well played.
Tell your people.
Yeah. I'm like, Nate, just be the asshole City of Champions guy. Be that dude.
Like, and it's got to be somebody with a wicked Boston accent too. Or if he doesn't have one, put it on. Like, play it up. Because it's so perfect.
Be Josh Hokett. Just like put those sunglasses on.
Every post
but then be Boston.
Like, City of Champions got a new one. Wicked good at this fighting thing. Just be like, okay, everyone's gonna hate you or love you. Perfect.
Shut up, haters. Shut up, you haters. Oh, that'd be so incredible. Gents, Uriah Faber's coming out of retirement to main event an A1 combat card in January.
People don't retire.
How do you feel about legends popping up for one-offs, and who might you like to see return for one? So,
also, is this
perhaps you can enlighten
MMA fight?
That is my question, because all of the announcements are Uriah is competing in the main event of this card, but there is, from everything that I've looked for, there is not a single thing that says it's an MMA fight. So
he has done this exact thing before, and it didn't come to fruition, right? Like this was like at an A1 thing. He was supposed to, I think, last year, but it was going to be a grappling match, or maybe it even did happen. I don't know.
I think it did.
It might have even happened. It wouldn't shock me if he was actually fighting.
It's not going to be an MMA fight.
I wouldn't put it at 0. I think it's very low. But like, you know, he was trying to do the GFL thing when that was a fun 2 weeks. And fighters don't retire, but this is his organization. My guess is he's just going to grapple somebody, and that's fine. I have no issue with old dudes grappling. I don't need to see an almost 50-year-old fist fight a guy. It's never good. It's just the best case scenario is like Andrei Arlovsky knocked out Kells on Saturday. And do I really care about that? I'm happy Andre didn't lose, but that's the extent to which I care about it. So I would prefer him not fist fight somebody, but if he's grappling, totally fine.
There you go. All right. I think we're good, Jed. It is your day off, which we appreciate you jumping on here. So talk, Jed.
On the Uriah Faber thing, it is always funny when he fights because the 46-year-old California kid is, I mean, that's just, how can you not laugh at that? Otherwise, guys, I don't know if you know this, we are 4 days away from the best fight card of the year. 2 champ fights. I didn't look this up. I meant to look it up. I believe, Mike, technically this is not true. I believe this is the first time in UFC history that 2 champ fights have been on a card, because there have been very limited of those anyway. And technically, neither Makhachev nor Zhang are champions, We all know. Everybody, we don't have to bury our head in the sand and act stupid. We know that these are champ fights in all but name. First time that's ever happened. These are the events we wait for. I cannot possibly be more excited for Saturday. 3 Michelin stars, baby. 3 stars.
Yeah, I think you could put it. Like, I think we could do the Meltzer, just add half stars when needed. Just go beyond. That's how I'm feeling about this one. And this is what I say, like, you know, I had a bunch of people like DM me, be like, oh, all you do is complain and be negative and all that shit. Not true. Because guess what? We have this. And this is all we ask for. Just when the promotion tries, it's good for everybody. And this is a good one. This is a damn good one. This is what we get. We get full effort from everybody involved. We get cards like this. The excitement levels grow. And this card friggin' rocks. We'll have your coverage all week long. Media day tomorrow. Press conference Thursday. Weigh-ins Friday. Watch party Saturday. All the fun stuff. Stick with us at MMAfighting.com. It's a terrific website. Until then, everybody. Good night.
Love y'all.